What's up, friends? I know I'm super late. I know. I almost didn't come. I almost didn't come here. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I wouldn't do that. Does that sound like something I would do? Not gonna lie. I had a rough evening last evening. Had a rough evening. You know, people can be real a-hoes on the internet. Extreme assholes on the internet. And it's like I'm not gonna get into it. It was fantastic, Denise. Thank you for asking. She wasn't super excited. She wasn't super thrilled with my choice of color, which was like basically clear. But she got purple on her nails and blue on her toenails. And it was fantastic. We had such a great time. She wiped her face with her wet hand of polish and got purple polish all across her nose. So that was a slight travesty, but we got it all fixed. My daughter is feeling better, much better. Thank you. Yeah, we went to her school had like a family day fair thing last night, and we went there and she made a miraculous recovery. She also took Motrin. That probably helped a lot. And then she felt so great she went and stayed at my parents' last night, and she's still there. Being a rebel. She is such a rebel. She's such a little rebel. Thanks, Terry. Shani, Susan, Shelly, Linda, David, Lauren, hey, Jeffrey, Nancy, Susan, Dee, Linda. Did I say hi to you, Linda, already? Well, hello. Cynthia, Sharon, I think I said hi. Cecilia, Jackie, Deborah. Wait. Mary, Roy. I feel like I said hi already, but I'm going to say hi again. How are y'all doing? Yeah, right? I was trying to explain that to her. I was like, you have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. Hello, Scott's cat from Scotland. Thanks, Linda. Hey, Dee Robertson. And Anne and Teresa. Thanks, Debbie. Major Mom. I like that name. Germany. That's awesome. Howdy. So what have y'all been doing this weekend? Anything fun for anyone? Well, hello, RJ. Scarface. New internet, new devices. What? You have new internet and new devices? Or do you have new internet because you have new devices? I don't know, technology, it's so difficult for me, but aren't you like super into technology, Audio Coffee? You should be great with it. Hello, Sapphire Sky. In today's hustle and bustle and manicure is still something people still take time for, knowing it'll probably only be good for a few days at most. Yeah. Well, you know what? I got there's like this dip powder that my mom told me about. And so that's what I got on my nails. And it just like makes them stronger and shiny. And it apparently lasts for a little while. But yeah, I I really had forgotten. My daughter had to remind me, like, how how nice it feels to just have your nails done and also your toenails, you know? It feels so nice. I had forgotten about that, but I think it's important and she enjoys it. So, it's fun to do together. It's a fun time. Fun, fun time. Hey, Terry. Mm. Lauren, are you a realtor or like your house is on the market? Hello, Robin. You know what? I used to have a dog named Hoosier because just because I did. I learned something important last night, and it was to stop telling the internet about my life. Thank you, Marcus. That's so nice. Deborah, that's so cool. My daughter tells me she's never going to have kids, so I probably won't get to do that. But if I get to, I think it'll be fun. I do not know the name of the dip powder. My mom just sent me a text saying it's called dip powder, but they just dip your finger in it and they like put some polish on your nail and then they dip your finger in the like it looks like acrylic powder. And then you cure it or I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention, but I know it did have to be cured for a little bit. And then you go wash your hands and it's all done. But they're a lot thicker. Janice, hello. What? Okay. When you type a word in that you know the spelling of, add it to the dictionary by tapping on it in the bar just above the keyboard. Huh. That's confusing. Hey, bearded man. Wait. Oh, okay. Oh, hubby's home. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. You can't wear polish. Why? Hello. Well, hello, you. Liaison. Aeon. What does it say? Oh, yeah. Super glue. Yeah, but for the super glue, wasn't that for like the tips or for the fake nails or whatever? There's something in my eye, on my eyeball. Oh, really, Sandy? That stinks. Because, um, nail polish can just really brighten your day sometimes. Oh, really? Okay. It was just for the dip. That's crazy. Huh. One hails of a chat coming up. Y'all are funny. Ooh, that seems pretty. I've never been there. Yeah, I think it is a gel powder dip. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, they do use it against you and then say mean things about you being a single mom. It's true. Saw it last night. Hey, Gigi. Hello, Lorraine. Oh, yeah. Wait, no, that's not tonight. It's tomorrow night, right? Linda? Not just my lash, my eyeball. Yeah, right? It's so terrible. Ugh. Tomorrow night. Okay. Hey, Joseph. Tomorrow night. Hey, Rabbit. Hello. Yep. Okay. Okay, dears. Okay. Well, y'all ready to get this party started here in a sec? Let's move our tab to a new window because we know what we're doing. And we can be prepared for a stream despite what others may say. Like, I mean, you guys, I'm prepared. Like, if I show up, that means I'm prepared. I'm prepared to get up here and talk and sit here. It's, not that much preparation, to be honest. So I'm not sure what they're talking about. Also, I do have a child and a job, that I have to. People are just assholes. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna move along. And just remind everyone that don't be an asshole. Not that y'all are. Y'all are very nice to me. Okay, let's see. Nope. I always accidentally click on live on their thing. No. No, I wasn't talking about y'all at all. No, I'm talking about a totally different chat. Yeah, exactly. Mhm. Okay. There there's a lot going on over here. Okay, we don't want that one. Um, okay, that's what we watched last time. I'm suing him. We're not gonna watch that one because that's not actually, and that one's just Jeremy. I don't want to watch one that's just Jeremy the whole time, I don't think. Okay, we can watch this one though. Y'all got it? You ready? Share screen. Entire screen. Here we go. Who's ready for this? I am so sorry. I did not mean to make everybody's eardrums bleed. That was so evil of me. It was not intentional, I swear. I swear to you. I swear to you. It was not intentional. Um, can y'all see that, what I'm doing right now? 'Cause it's kind of neat. Kind of neat. And add another item. Okay. I don't know. I think I like that one. I think I like it. I think I do. Here we go. Okay, this is going to be more of the judge. So, if you need to take a few deep breaths, go ahead and do so. I'll be doing so over here all by my lonesome. Play. I would not hold my breath on that one. Sorry. I I just realized there was no sound because, it takes me a minute. Okay, we're gonna go back to our old one. See, I thought that I was being fancy, but it turns out I wasn't. Remove? No. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know? What? Okay, now tell me if you can hear this.
There have been 5 so far. And in the writ of prohibition, asking the courts to remove him completely from this case, there are over 10 pages. Yes, 10 pages where Judge Grudge, Craig DeThomas, actually examines me as if he's Lynette's lawyer. Let's take a deeper dig into this examination. See what he did right, see what he did wrong. Although I'm not real positive we're going to find anything that he did right. So he examines me and he says, "You are Jeremy Hales, the respondent in this action." And I respond, "Yes." As a matter of fact, looking at it right here, you can see my response. This is directly from the court reporter. So I'm going to be going through this 58-page document, but we're going to look at 10 because he actually examines me as if he's a lawyer. Not okay. So yeah, I'm Jeremy Hales. I'm the respondent. If you don't know what a respondent is, Lynette would be the petitioner. She's the one that brought this suit seeking an injunction. And I'm the respondent saying, well, this is why you should not give an injunction. Okay. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of the blue, you got this judge who wants to examine me. All right. He says, "You are present in the court."
So is this just like you can't hear anything? Everybody else can hear, right? Okay. Is this okay, so this one, see, some people say there's no sound at all. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, refresh if you can't hear. Refresh, refresh. Um, is this just gonna go over all the stuff that we've already heard, or is there new parts to it? I guess we'll see.
On November 29th, when your counsel represented that you had to be in court the following morning in Ohio. Now let's pause right there, okay? Because he already has some major, horrible assumptions in this question. He's saying that Mark Feather stated that I needed to be in Ohio court. Mark Feather never said I needed to be in Ohio court. Mark Feather said I had to be back in Ohio to deal with Ohio court.
This is all time filler. This is boring. Change it. Okay, so what would y'all like me to change it to? I haven't seen yesterday's video. I cannot, Gail, and I actually don't, I don't actually, address the child at all. on this channel. I have not. You know what I mean?
Matters. He didn't say I had to be in court. He didn't say I had a trial. He didn't say I had a hearing. And yet here's the judge stating, oh, well, you were here on November 29th when Mark Feather said that you had to be in the Ohio court. No, he never said that. And my answer was this. I was in this court. Yes, I apologize. I was in the court, meaning I was there on November 29th in Levy County. My lawyer did not say verbatim I had to be in a trial in Ohio. He said I had, and boom, now the judge cuts me off. He says, I didn't say the word trial either. And I answered, well, that's what I heard. Well, as we're looking at the actual transcripts, he said, your counsel represented you had to be in court the following morning. So I interpreted being in court the following morning as a trial. What else would you be in court for? Judge Craig DeThomas says, well, if that's what you heard, or if I misspoke, it's not. I did not say trial. And he's correct. He didn't say trial. He said in court. He was presuming it was a trial. He was assuming it was a trial. And it wasn't a trial. And nor did Mark Feather ever say I was going to be in a court. He said I was going to be in Ohio. All right, so let's keep going on. I said my legal counsel did not state I need to be in court. He stated I needed to be in Ohio to take care of things with the court. You can see it right here. This is the transcripts, the official transcripts from the trial, right there, that I needed to be in Ohio to take care of things with the court, which is what Mark Feather stated. Now, for some reason, this judge can't get it out of his head that Mark Feather somehow says, I'm going to be there on trial. Now, he's mad at me because I used the word trial. How do you get mad as a judge? How do you even start to cross-examine the respondent as a judge? Not okay. I understand if he has follow-up question in regards to an examination for facts, but this is not follow-up. This is a legal examination brought on by a defense counselor attorney. It's not his job anymore. Okay. And then the question goes on to having to address matters in Ohio related to this situation, correct? This is what Mark Feather said. Having to address matters in Ohio related to this situation, correct? And I say, right. Where did I have to be? In Ohio. I never said I had to be in Ohio courts. I did have to address the situations. I was in Ohio addressing the.
Yeah, this one is so dumb because this judge is so crazy with this. Like, you said you have, like, and also saying you can sign things from anywhere in the world. That's just crazy. There are plenty of court adjacent situations where you have to be in person.
Situation filing for contempt of court on Crook and Lynette, which you've already seen, or maybe you haven't. If you haven't, it's in the Otter Creek playlist. You've already seen those hearings. Those hearings are also being used as evidence in the federal court cases against Crook and Lynette. So he says, so did you or did you not have to have a court appearance? Now, this is a ridiculous question because I've already answered it, right? My lawyer never said I had to be there on trial. My lawyer said I had to be in Ohio to take care of things for the Ohio courts. And I said I did not have a court appearance, nor was it stated that I had a court appearance. It was never stated. You know, here's the point where Judge Grudge says, I never said trial. Well, now I'm going, it was never said court appearance. So we got this competing, you got this angry Greek, and now you got this Jeremy that's going, why in the world am I wasting money and am I here? This is a waste of my time, waste of my money. I already have civil protections orders against this woman. She would have just stopped at the cease and desist. Do you think there's anything in these two that would look back now and go, I wish we would have stopped when we got the cease and desist? Do you think there's any repentance to the point of going, we should have never even started. We should have never stalked them. We should have stayed in Northport. Northport, hearts on the mend. If you understand viewing other videos, when she stalked us to Otter Creek and confirmed I was in Otter Creek, she took a picture at our gate and then posted it and said, my new neighbors, what the hell's hearts on the mend? Oh, yeah. Got some pretty big issues, probably begging for the issues in Northport. I said I didn't have a court appearance, nor was it stated I had a court appearance, which then Judge Grudge goes on to say, okay, so what was it? You had to go there to sign some documents? That's what's being presented to the court. And I say, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I had to go for. My attorney in Ohio said, hey, I need you to come here and I need you to sign these documents, get them notarized so we can file for contempt of court. I said, okay, not a problem. I can fly there. It's less than $100 round trip. Did you go to Ohio to Florida? It's less than $100. It's no big deal to jump on a plane, go there, take care of business, come back. All right. $100. I spend almost well over $500 just driving back and forth. And so $99, sometimes it's $69 airfare round trip. So I tell him, yes, sir, that's exactly what happened. He says, okay, so the court, he goes on to say, the court is familiar with because the court.
Yeah, what airline do you think he's using? We need to find that out. I need to get some cheap tickets. Let's find that out.
Does this on a daily basis, by the way. Judge is the court. Sometimes dozens of times, sometimes hundreds of times a day, which is signing of documents from anywhere on the planet. If you want to know where this whole planet background came from, it was from his examination, his illegal examination of me in the courtroom, where he says we can do this anywhere on the planet. Now, let's keep in mind, apparently, they had a subpoena for court in Florida for over 2 months while I was in Ohio, and they somehow couldn't get it to me in Ohio. Now, I'm curious how this judge can get documents anywhere on the planet, and yet is Ohio like some Bermuda Triangle? You just, all documents disappear when they go to Ohio? For over 2 months, couldn't get any paperwork to me. As a matter of fact, I think it was 2.5 months. I came back to Florida, went to the sheriff's station, reported what Lynette and Crook had been up to, gave them copies of civil protection orders, and said, hey, where's this paperwork, those subpoenas I need to get? They're like, I'll go over to the courthouse and you can get them. I went to them to get this paperwork on the planet. So he says, why did you have to go to Ohio to sign your name to a document? After he tells me he can get documents anywhere on the planet. Yet,
didn't he say it had to be notarized? Oh, yes, I definitely do. T. Underwood. I definitely have it sped up. No, he's just super fast today, or something's wrong with your ears.
He failed for over 2.5 months. Boy, this is some judge right here. So why'd you have to go to Ohio? My answer, I was filing for contempt of court. And because I was filing for contempt of court and civil protection orders in Ohio, my legal counsel asked if I would fly and come and notarize and file in the court system. I did it because my lawyer told me to. Now, I hope you understand. Now this is going to break attorney-client privilege, right? Because he's asking a question. First of all, he can't ask me to break attorney-client privilege, and yet he's going to continue to do so. And he can't direct examine me this way either, and yet he's continuing to do so. And at the end of this, you're not going to believe what he has to say at the end of all of this. And then he goes on to say, that's not responsive to my question. My question is, why would you have to physically be there in Ohio to sign a document that could be
You have to pay to breathe?
signed in many, many other ways without you physically being present in Ohio to sign it? Oh my goodness. The man who says you can get papers signed anywhere on the planet. By the way, you are odd. That's Otter Creek right there. You're not here. You are odd. And this man is odd. What kind of answer do you think I'm going to give him? The exact same answer I just did. My legal counsel in Ohio said I needed to be there in person to sign the documents. I'm one of those people that actually go, my lawyer goes, okay, do this, don't do that, do this, do that. You pay them good money for that. I try and actually do exactly what they tell me to do or not to do. That's what I did.
Those are the kind of clients I like, if I'm being honest. The ones that do what I tell them to do.
By the way, I already answered this question, so now he's gotten the second answer. And it's the exact same, even though he just told me that's not responsive to my question. And this is breaking attorney-client privilege as well. He's asking me, directing me to break attorney-client privilege. Now, I could have just said, I'm not answering that. Of course, what do you think would have happened then? He would have held me in contempt of court. He could have fined me. He could have jailed me. He could have done anything. I would have said, hey, that's a breach of attorney-client privilege. And he would have then went, fine, jail. Because that's who this guy is, without a doubt. So then he asks, who's your legal counsel? And I tell him, I give him the name. I tell him the first name and last name. And then he goes, okay, what's his last name? Even though I just gave it. And I give him the last name as well. And then he spells it out as a question. And I say, yes, that's how. And he says, where is the office? And I tell him where the office is. Now, this is the funny part. Question comes after him, after I identify where his office is. He says, so you're saying your lawyer gave you advice? Wait for this parenthesis. Oh, by the way, anything you're talking about in terms of advice from your counsel, if you're choosing to talk about it because I'm not. Wait, hold a second.
That makes no sense.
He's asking me questions, forcing me to answer them.
Baiting.
And literally, by the way, anything you're talking about in terms of advice of your lawyer counsel, if you're choosing to talk about it because I'm not. He's choosing not to talk about it, and yet he's asking direct questions about it. Do you think Judge Grudge here is choosing to talk about it or not choosing to talk about it? We should take a poll. Is he choosing to talk about my attorney-client privilege, or is he choosing not to? He says, I'm not asking you to waive any attorney-client privilege, but you're raising as a defense to your non-compliance with the court order that your lawyer told you you had to be there to sign documents. Now, let's pause right there. He sets a continuance, not because of me, because of Lynette, because he allows Lynette to ramble and ramble and ramble in court, and we don't get done. I say he wants to come back 9 a.m. the next morning. I say, I can't. I got a flight. Mark Feather says, hey, my client has to be in Ohio.
Yeah, and do y'all remember Mark Feather also didn't even want to put off the rest of it for, like, he didn't want to get a continuance. He wanted to go ahead and be able to cross her and to, or at least, I remember him asking if the witnesses that they had there that were in court that day, if they could at least go up and be questioned, remember? And he was like, no. If it was just me, fine, but it's not just me. I have a staff and blah, blah, blah. If you want to come on the weekends, we can come on the weekends. If you want to be here at midnight, fine, I'll be here at midnight. But right now, I got to continue this until 9 a.m. Yeah, 15 minutes. Exactly. The 15 minutes thing.
He has matters he has to deal with with the Ohio courts. And so Lynette misses her whole deposition. She pathologically, habitually lies and says, my mother died. My mother didn't die. By the way, this is the same thing that we just saw with her filings. Jeremy doesn't live in Ohio. Jeremy lives in Ohio. Which is it? Is mom dead? Is mom not dead? Do I live in Ohio? Don't I live in Ohio? Are we not thoroughly confused? By the way, her mom did not die. And she's been using this excuse for years. You can find it posted all over her Facebook, which we have screenshots of it. She's done the same thing with John. We have screenshots of it. She's done the same thing with the child. We have screenshots of it. Whenever there's a situation, somebody's dying. And yes, that will all be shown in court. So to him saying, I'm choosing not to talk about it, but then he's going on and saying, I have to talk about it. And he says, your lawyer told you to be there to sign documents. My answer is very simple. Yes. That's it. It's all should suffice. And I should not have to say anything else. Attorney-client privilege, period, that he has chosen not to talk about. And yet he's going to continue to directly examine me as if he is a lawyer. Question.
You know what? I'm going to add a little banner to the bottom of the screen.
By Judge DeThomas's. Which, could you tell me if you have a basis why, from your perspective, or from what you know about your need to be there, what was your need to be there, as opposed to all the forms of the ability to sign a document from literally anywhere on the planet these days? You think I'm joking? Again, this is directly from the court reporter. Transcribes anywhere on the planet. That beautiful, beautiful planet. And yet, Judge Grudge, Craig DeThomas, still can't get any paperwork to me in Ohio. You know what? Maybe he should have jumped on a flight and came to Ohio. Under $100 round trip. He could have saved himself 2.5 months. I mean, if he's so good at this, hundreds, sometimes thousands of signatures on a daily basis, his own words, not mine. And yet he couldn't get me any documentation. So my answer is very simple. From my understanding, notarization in person with my lawyer and then filing in Ohio courts. Just told him exactly why I had to be there. From my understanding, I had to have a notarization in person with my lawyer and then filing in the courts. That's my answer. Again, this is breaking my attorney-client privilege. He's forcing me. And if I don't, he's going to find me in non-compliance because he said I must bring proof that I was in Ohio, which I did. I brought him a copy of my flights. I brought him a copy of the documentation that I filed for contempt of court, which is notarized, which proves I was there and I signed it and it was notarized and it was filed with the court. I brought him proof of everything. And when Lynette is told she needs to bring proof that her mother died, he says, do you have a gas receipt maybe when you drove down to Sarasota? Is there a gas receipt? As if a gas receipt proves anything about a death. Yeah. You know what proves death? A death certificate proves death. And he's telling Lynette, you know what? Gas receipt. That'll work for me. You think a gas receipt would have worked for me going to Ohio? Where he can get anything on the planet, except he can't get anything in Ohio? I couldn't believe it. All right, so then Judge Craig DeThomas says, why wouldn't you just use a notary here in Florida? With your lawyer here in Florida? And I answer, I did not ask that question, Your Honor, and I didn't. My lawyer said, hey, I need you to come up here, fly up here. I need you to sign this. We need to file for court. And I did. And I booked the flight weeks in advance. And I'm not going to cancel that for a ridiculous hearing from somebody who's just pathologically lying in the courtroom. Not to mention, at this point as well, Judge Craig DeThomas has still told Lynette there is no evidence of need of an injunction. So why is this so important to him? There's no evidence. She's brought no evidence. She spoke for almost 3 hours, rambling about absolutely nothing. There's no evidence. There's no temporary injunction. What does it matter? Good question. My lawyer tells me I need to be in Ohio. I show up in Ohio. Okay. And he says, so you're unaware of whether you could have done it that way. And I said, I'm unaware. I didn't ask. I mean, how many people, when a lawyer says, hey, I want you to do this, goes, hey, is there another way? You're paying a lawyer hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, and at this point, hundreds of thousands of dollars. $125,000 so far in legal fees, and I haven't gotten my current last bill yet. I'm sure it'll be over 150. And I pay them for their knowledge. I pay them for their expertise. A fool represents themselves in court, as you have seen so aptly with Lynette and Crook. Crook telling the judge and my lawyer, oh, I said suck my quack to Michelle. And then he flips back and forth and says, Lynette, Michelle, what is it? Is it Lynette or Michelle? How many personalities does this woman have? So he goes, all right, why isn't it signed until December 1st? And I answer, my flight was booked, prearranged for the date that you've been provided. And then the meetings were already set per date as well. In other words, I had a meeting with my lawyer. I looked at potential flights of when I could get from Tampa to Ohio. That flight worked Friday. No, it wasn't Friday. Thursday morning at 9 a.m. It was because it was a Wednesday hearing. It was a Thursday morning, 9 a.m. I had to be at the Tampa airport, fly out. That's what I was able to book to get to my meeting. If I would have booked it the day of, there's no guarantee there's a flight the day of. There's no guarantee there's a flight the day before. So he says, then why wasn't it signed until December 1st? What does it matter? My flight was booked, prearranged for the date that you've been provided. And then the meetings were already set per date as well. And he goes, the meeting for December 1st? I said, yes, that's the day that I met with my attorney. So I'm pretty sure we were in court November 29th. Judge Grudge wanted to reconvene the next morning at 9 a.m. I said, no, I can't. Mark Feather says he's got to fly to Ohio. He's got some issues he's got to deal with the Ohio court. My flight is already prearranged weeks in advance. I fly out 9 a.m.
So basically, it seems like to me what the judge isn't actually saying, but what he means is that he's pissed off that Jeremy didn't cancel his flight the next morning, since it wasn't that he had to be in court. Hey, John, it wasn't that he had to be in court the next morning. It was just that he had to be on a plane the next day, right? Anyway, judge seems real butthurt about that.
The next morning, I don't meet with my attorney for the day after that. So I fly, and then the next day, and then the next day I meet with my attorney, and this is under his skin for some reason. So you did not have to be in Ohio November 30th at 9 a.m. is what he asked. Why is the judge asking this? I mean, seriously, ask yourself the question, is this appropriate? Is this legal? The answer is no. And I said, sir, I had to be at the Tampa airport for my flight at 9 a.m. So no, I did not need to be in Ohio at 9 a.m. I needed to be at the Tampa airport at 9 a.m. So then he asked the question, so your lawyer's representation that you needed to be in Ohio tomorrow morning, that was stated to this court on or about, here we go with all of his time frames, 4:45 to 5 p.m. on 11/29. So tomorrow morning would be the a.m. of 11:30. You're stating under oath to this court that you did not physically have to be there in Ohio on the morning of November 30th. Which I then state, Your Honor, which frankly at this point, there is no honor with this man. I think he lacks honor. I said, Your Honor, I had tickets pre-purchased. So to make my flight
Yeah, so in order to make the flight and not have to cancel it, not get his money back, then yeah, hey Rick, then yeah, he had to be there, right? Am I missing something? The judge is just mad that he didn't actually have to be in court. I don't know why the judge doesn't just say that. Like, well, you should have rescheduled since you didn't actually have to be in court. All you had to do was be on an airplane. I don't know why he just like beats around the bush.
My appearances, by the way, the court misspelled 4. They put the number 4 instead of FOR. For a second there, I thought I was reading Crook and Lynette's writing. Your Honor, I had tickets pre-purchased. So to make my flight for my appearances in Ohio, there would have not, I don't believe there would have been any other opportunity to actually fly into Ohio to be able to make my appearances. Pretty simple. I picked the flight that was going to get me there, and nor am I going to change it for Lynette. I mean, really, that's the reality of it. Now, this is all said and done with already, but he's direct examining me as if he's a defense attorney. So then he goes on, your lawyer never used those words and said, well, judge, just to be accurate, just to be truthful, and just to be articulate, our basis for asking for a continuance of the case that involves a petition for protection against stalking. Pause right there. By the way, this is all Judge Thomas saying this. For the protection against stalking, which Judge Thomas did not give a temporary order after all the ramblings of Lynette. He said there is no evidence. What's he so worried about? There's no evidence. 3 hours, there's still no evidence. For which there's no temporary injunction, so that you have all the facts and circumstances. Let me tell you, my client doesn't have to be there tomorrow morning, but for the fact he's already paid for a ticket that will allow him to get there the day before, he has to be there to sign a document. And maybe the court at that time could have inquired of counsel or the counselor. Could you tell me, just hypothetically, why would somebody have to physically be in Ohio to sign a document, right? That never took place. And I know that because I reviewed the hearing half a dozen times, and I was the one presiding over the hearing.
Why would he review the hearing half a dozen times? Seriously. Seriously, why? Why would the judge review the hearing half a dozen times? That's insane. County taxpayer dollars being put to good use, y'all.
Hold a second. Do you realize what Judge Thomas just said? I know that because I have reviewed the hearing half a dozen times. Do you understand what he's doing? He literally went back to the hearings, whether it was the video, whether it was the transcripts, whether it was what the hails.
Pin something on you.
He has gone over this hearing no less than 6 times by his own admission. Gone through and listened to the rambling, the insanity of Lynette. Now, this is a biased man going through, as he guided and directed her, going through no less than 6 times, half a dozen times by his own admission, trying to pull out anything he can against me. His own admission here, he's reviewed the hearing half a dozen times. And I was the one presiding over the hearing. Why has he reviewed this hearing half a dozen times?
Yeah, why?
Why are the taxpayer paying this judge to review this hearing half a dozen times?
Okay, he said it
The
too.
very first hearing, there's been 5 so far. Something does not add up here at all. It's his bias. It's his impartiality. This man has something against me, particularly because of YouTube. It has nothing to do with truth. It has nothing to do with justice. It has nothing to do with honor, even though I can.
Y'all, I bet that the judge is like one of the worst. Like, I bet he's one of these mean YouTube trolls. You know, the kind that I was talking about at the beginning. I bet you. Hiding behind a keyboard. Oh, man.
Continue to call him your honor, which then goes on to say, what was represented to this court by your lawyer is that you had to be in Ohio tomorrow morning. Obviously, I had to be. I had a flight, which would have been November 30th a.m. Having to address, when lawyers use that word, has to, must, shall, requirement to be in Ohio related to the situation. Yeah, I had to, I must, I shall, I will be. I had a flight. I don't get there if I'm not on the flight and on the plane. I mean, this is common sense for everybody. I feel like 5-year-olds get this. Not that big of a deal. Why is it that big of a deal? Do you think he would have made this big of a deal in anybody else's trial? Anybody else's?
Chrissy, it's Otter Creek, Florida. Except, yeah, this one was in Levy County.
Case. Maybe we should start digging into those and see exactly what this man is like in other cases. And what I'm now hearing is you really didn't have to be there until the next day. It may be that you really didn't have to be there at all because of all what you did was sign a document and not see a judge who required to make you have a court appearance. Then my attorney at this point, Mr. Shaka, says, Judge, may I ask a question? My attorney is now trying to stop this examination, this onslaught, which is inappropriate and illegal. And then Judge Thomas says, in a moment you can. And then he goes on to say, is this accurate, Mr. Hales? And I give no response. As a matter of fact, look, there it is right there. I just can't believe what's going on. I give no response. I seriously can't believe what's going on. I can't believe what I am involved in and the lack of professionalism, the lack of integrity, the lack of order, the lack of, I guess I should stop being shocked.
Probably.
I mean, it's Levy County. I guess I should stop being shocked. But if the Levy County residents rise up and hold their officials accountable.
Yeah, this right here. I guess this judge, I think the last time I heard, it's not this year. I think it's 2 more years, right? So 2026, I think. I don't know. You'll have to check that. It probably says it on the website or something. But Levy County voters should watch this. And if they do not agree with this, the only way that you can make a change is to vote him out of office. You do have power. You're a voter. You should use it. This is what you should use it for. Local elections. They are so important.
Then things will get better for everybody. And when I say rise up, no violence whatsoever. We have the ability to rise up and to vote. We have the ability to guide and direct those who guide and direct our county, where we live. And so we have that opportunity and that responsibility. And by all means, we should take advantage of it. And by all means, I'm going to make sure that I do my.
Well, Mary, I think what happened is that he was, so he was appointed. But then once open seat that he was appointed to. Once that term was up, I believe that he ran unopposed, and so he was elected because no one ran against him. And so, he'll be running again, presumably in 2026, and yeah, he hopefully does not win. So somebody needs to run against him. That's the moral of this story.
Part to make sure Judge DeThomasis never, ever sits on that bench again when he's up for re-election in 2026. And I'm doing what I can even now to make sure that he gets removed from the bench. But I'm one person. It's going to take us all. So he then goes on to say, is that a more accurate representation? And I say, this is my answer. I think the accurate representation is there was a scheduling conflict. And on my part, a very important scheduling conflict. To be able to catch my flight, to be able to go to the sheriff's station, which, by the way, I didn't even mention this yet, but this was another one of my appointments. I needed to go to the sheriff's station, and I'll explain that in a moment. To be able to go to the sheriff's station to pick up my certified civil protection orders against Lynette Preston and John Crook, because they cannot be served to just anybody else. I had to be in Ohio in person at the Summit County Sheriff's office to receive those and then go see my lawyer. Now, I'm going to pause right there because I had a number of different things that I scheduled during this trip. So number one was to see my lawyer. Okay. Number two, I had to go to the sheriff's station and I had to actually pick up the certified copies. I already had copies of the civil protection orders that we brought to Levy County Sheriff's Station when we got back in Florida, but I didn't have the actual certified copies, and I needed those certified copies. They had to be certified for paperwork that we were filing in the Florida courts. Well, I asked, can my employees pick them up? Can Christian pick them up? Can patients pick them up? And they said, no, you are the only person that can pick them up. And I said, well, can I pay you to ship them? They said, no, you must pick them up in person. So that was another appointment I had. So I had to go to the sheriff's station, I had to meet with my lawyer, and then I stayed an extra day to go to an auction as well with all of my friends at one of the honey hole areas, which I did not buy anything or even bid on anything. So that was a bust.
And that was on a Saturday.
That was a Saturday when the court is closed anyway. So that didn't really matter.
Well, the judge did say we can come in at midnight or the weekend.
He did say some things like that. As a matter of fact, let's look back right now and see what he said.
You guys want to come back on a Saturday or Sunday? I'll be here on a Saturday or Sunday. You want to come back at midnight? We'll be back at midnight. Want to come back tomorrow? Let's come back at 9 o'clock. So are we reconvening at 9 o'clock?
That's fine. I have a doctor's appointment, but I'll cancel it.
Mr. Hales is having to address matters in Ohio court related to this situation. He has to be there tomorrow morning. He has a flight out.
Well, who's the judge in Ohio? Why don't we reach out and see what they can do to accommodate us?
So then he asked, why did you have to get served with something? Okay, wait, this is a judge that says he can get paper anywhere on the planet except for Ohio, apparently. And yet now he's asking me how the legal system works. So now I have to educate him. I answer because that's the way the system works. I'm served as well. She served, he served, I'm served. Lynette gets served, Crook gets served, I get served. That's the way it works. So the only person that could go and get those papers was me, which doesn't even matter. That wasn't even the real reason why I was going. I was going to meet with my lawyer. It was just the opportunity to get all the paperwork at that time. Once you're going to fly into a place, you're going to get as many things done as you can as you go there, right? You're not just going to go, oh, I'm going to go fly and meet with my lawyer. I'm going to fly back to Florida. Oh, you know what? Let me go fly back up. I'm going to go get all this certified paperwork that I needed to get as well, but I'm in Florida. Oh, yeah, I'm going to fly back to Florida. There's an auction. I'm going to go fly up for that auction. No, you get as much done and crammed in as you possibly can. I mean, this is just ridiculous questioning based on Judge DeThomasis. And so he says, so the issue is on November 30th in the morning, you did not need to be there to be served. You did not. Now we know. Need there be a sign of any documents because it doesn't even take place until December 1st date. And I say, no, sir. The issue is I had a scheduled flight to be there and do not believe I could have gotten another flight to be there on time. Now, why hasn't he directly examined Lynette about dodging her deposition not once, but twice and literally a third time as well? Has he examined her at all? The answer is no. He's told her, can you give me a gas receipt? And she hasn't even provided it. Okay. Did you ever set your lawyer straight? Hold a second. Who is Judge DeThomasis to say, did you ever set your lawyer straight? This man can't even get a document to Ohio. And now he's telling me I have to set my lawyer straight. Did you ever set your lawyer straight when he was standing in front of the court saying that you had to address matters in Ohio tomorrow morning related to this situation? And he's talking about Mark Feather. I hope you understand. He's now asking me to break yet again attorney-client privilege. And I said, I have discussed this with my representation. Yes. And then he goes on to say, he stood in court, meaning Mark Feather, You were standing right next to him or sitting right next to him. This is a man who says he's gone through this hearing 6 times at a minimum so far, and he can't even remember if I was standing or sitting. By the way, I was sitting at this point, where he said nothing about it. It's because his flight is tomorrow. It might cause him an inconvenience. I would have considered that. There's no doubt that I would have. Oh, really? He's going to consider it, but he's giving me all this about it right now. It would have been a problem. I would also have to inquire like I am now. Tell me how, because I don't know any of the law that requires you to be physically present in another state when you sign it here. We have plenty of notaries. You could swear before me. You know, I try and make it 95% of the time. I try and make it a common practice to not swear. Okay. Now, there are those slip ups. By all means, I'm not perfect. Or am I, George? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you go. Just got witness and testimony right there. I'm not perfect, and I get frustrated and I get angry. And while I don't normally use any swear words, which again, he's not talking about swear words. You understand there is appropriate anger and there's appropriate ways to deal with anger. And words are simply just words. You say one word here in the United States, you go to another country and it means nothing. And so words only carry the meaning that you give it. And so it's just a word. It literally is just a word. And if I don't use it, I choose not to use it. And if I do use it, I chose to use it at that point. And that doesn't make it appropriate or inappropriate. A word is neutral. It's how you're using it. Okay. And so he said you could have sworn a document in the court the following morning and then sent it to your lawyer up there. And I could check with your lawyer in Ohio and we'll find out. Do you understand? He's threatening me now. So just so we can all see this, it's even underlined. And I could check with your lawyer in Ohio and we'll find out. Okay. He's threatening me. This is a direct threat in court saying he's going to contact my lawyer and we're going to find out. You know, he's supposed to be a judge, but he's acting as a defense attorney, which, by the way, I can share with you because my lawyer has shared with me and I don't mind sharing this. I'm not breaking attorney-client privilege. He never contacted my lawyer. He's just empty threats. And so my lawyer's been waiting for him to contact because my lawyer has.
Hi, Stacey.
Good luck contacting my lawyer. He's got some things he wants to say to this judge as well, as does the Ohio judge. Okay, and I could have checked with your lawyer in Ohio, and we'll find out whether that process could have been available to you to accommodate you, to save you from going to Ohio and back to Florida. The flight is already purchased. I'm going on my flight. Then he goes on to say, my concern is your lawyer was misrepresenting something in the court and got away with it. Mark Feather with a continuance to today. First of all, the man had to continue it anyway because he had no control of his courtroom with Lynette. So it's not like we got away with some special anything whatsoever, nor did my lawyer lie at all. And so he goes on to say, and what's relevant about that, aside from the issues with the lawyers, we're now here today with another lawyer asking for another continuance. Now, keep in mind, the day where this is all happening is the second court hearing where Lynette files supplemental information stating that Mark Feather tried to bribe her, which she's then go on to say in let's see, that was Ohio court, I think, that he tried to settle with her. So we go from bribe in Florida to settlement in Ohio. Lies. And he is now a witness in this, and I have to find new representation. Why? Because of me? No, because of Lynette. All because of Lynette. If Lynette wouldn't have done that, I would have still been there with Mark Feather. Asking for another continuance, which is putting you in a jam. I've got to be concerned about your ability to present your case because I got to decide the case of the interest of both of you. And the lawyering is standing in the way to some extent of that. Seems to me that the actual judging is standing in the way. A judge who thinks he's still a lawyer. So maybe he's right. It's the lawyering that's standing in the way. And then he goes on to say, now I've gotten to the next motion of continuance, and we're going to get into that in just a second. The court makes a finding there is non-compliance. Do you understand this? He is saying in court on record that there is non-compliance with the court's order. He ordered me to prove that I had to be in Ohio, and he files me with non-compliance. And he asked Lynette for a gas receipt that she's never submitted anything, and he's never ordered anything against her. And he goes on to say this court makes a finding that there is non-compliance with this court's order against me. I'm now in non-compliance.
Even after your new attorney got confirmation from your Ohio attorney.
Dated December 4th, 2023, which included the language that there was requirements to establish proof of the travel itinerary, which I sent him. He has a copy of my ticket there and my ticket back. That he did travel by plane to Ohio in time for a hearing. There was no hearing. I'm so tired of saying it, and this man can't get it through his head. And nor did Mark Feather ever say there was a hearing. In time for a hearing on the morning of 12/1 to collaborate that he did appear and that was required to be there when we now know that it's not exactly what it was, nor would it have been properly, truthfully represented to the court. Everything was truthfully represented to the court. I had to be in Ohio. Judge DeThomas goes on to say, which, by the way, we have it underlined here in the transcripts. I mean, this is pretty significant. I'm not saying Mr. Hales It's all on you. Interesting. So the judge is actually determining a verdict before actually even hearing anything in the case. But you're sitting there while your lawyer is representing this to the court and misleading the court, which never happened. My lawyers have never misled the court. And nothing was done to prevent it. And nonetheless, what's relevant for today is that you got it. You got the continuance. He had to grant it legally anyway. You bought you a continuance. And now you're asking for another one. I never asked for the first one.
The courthouse was closing. How was that a
That
continuance?
bought you a continuance. I did not ask for a continuance. He is the one that made sure there was a continuance by not having order in his court. And now you're asking for another one because Lynette lied about Mr. Feather.
Wow.
None of this has to do with me. I'm literally just sitting there doing nothing. And now I'm going to hear from Mr. Shaka in a moment about the next continuance. So as of now, there's non-compliance. He literally orders that there's non-compliance on my part, that I lied to the court in regards to my travel plans. I didn't lie. He has literally everything that proves it. Oh, that's right. I am missing that one gas receipt. Okay, prior orders based largely in part on the misrepresentation, then less than candid representations to this tribunal, meaning him. So literally what we just went over and what we also have stated in this writ of prohibition for over 10 pages of transcript. When you're sitting there, it doesn't feel like it. You don't know what's going on. You're just so shocked. You're in awe. But over 10 pages of transcript that began and ended with him talking about Mark Feather. Judge DeThomas cross-examined, derided, tormented me on and from the bench over a collateral, non-essential issue that was not even an issue until Judge DeThomas made it an issue. Although a trial court has some latitude, and I'm reading from you right here from my actual writ of prohibition. While the trial court has some latitude in making the independent inquiry of truth, it does not give them the opportunity to cross-examine a witness. This is just one of the many reasons why this man should never, ever sit on a bench in a courthouse.
Yes. Cynthia brings up an interesting point, and that point is, if you're in here and you have not hit the like yet, what are you doing? Get over there and hit that like. I actually can't even tell how many people have hit the like for some reason, but y'all should do it. Do it. Also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, you should do that. You should do that because I see on the analytics that a lot of people who are watching are not subbed. It's just a little click. It's just one little click. Just clicky click. Except don't click a second time. Just click one time. Just one click. You can do it. You can do it. Put your back into it. Okay, so I just found something. I'm sure y'all have seen it, but I have not. I'm going to show you though, don't worry. Yeah, okay, guys. Well, I'm not going to show you until you hit the like. Hit the like. No, many are doms, not subs. Okay. I'll let you back in. I'll let you back in. So this website, it's not secure either. So there's that, but it's called the Robing Room. Have y'all seen this? It's crazy. Apparently these are like reviews for the judge. And they ain't good. They just ain't good. How do you make something bigger? Come on, guys. How do I make this bigger? Who knows? There we go. Look at that. Look at me doing things. Oh my gosh. Okay, so his attorney average rating is 2.4. Non-attorney average rating, 2.0. Where judges are judged. That's amazing. This person says they're in law school and going over the Preston v. Hales. Wait to get into the videos of this case, I'm sure. The judge should stay in the classroom if he practices law anywhere. Standing up for a lawyer who was keeping Tom. Oh, yeah. I'm horrified at the behavior I have seen coming from this judge as a resident, and it frightens me to know that he sits on the bench in our beautiful state, marring our reputation and giving the impression that there is utter corruption in this area. That was a long sentence. I sincerely hope that someone steps in and takes action against not only the unprofessional, incompetent, and illegal behavior he's displayed, but also anyone that sits in a position of authority over our citizens that is unable to serve the public in the manner in which they have been sworn to uphold. I can't read that one. I don't have enough breath. You know what I mean? Not much. Yeah, apparently anybody can post here. That's true. Hey, Nurse TT. This judge is terrible. He is biased, is one-sided, and doesn't listen. I am a true crime person. I've seen many court cases on TV, and I've never seen any judge doing what this man is doing. Maybe Judge Delirious thinks that since his old buddy Ron DeSantis appointed him, since it seemed he was never going to get elected on his own, how about a handled chum, that his job is safe and he can do as he damn well pleases. And it obviously pleases him to be the bully of the courtroom and the system. I think your day has come and there is no more hiding under those black robes. Issues with C. DeThomasis for quite a while. Not a team player with those around him. He's always mad about something. Glad people are realizing his anger issues. God help us all. His Honor has apparently confused indirect contact to include actions by independent, unrelated party whose only nexus to the issue is having read submissions of free speech by a source of public information. There is no reasonable nexus connecting a presumed threat of a private actor to a publication reserving commentary to truthful, albeit at times outrageous, statements. The judge is a debit to a productive society. All he wants is fame and fortune, and he doesn't care who he steps on to achieve it. All he does is talk and not listen. And that one's about the tanning bed kerfuffle. Oh, what the hell's is here? Are they here? Oh, why, hello. Hello, hello. Have you seen this? The robing room. It's pretty funny. This judge is biased, so I would rate him a 0. There's absolutely no way to get an unbiased hearing from him. He sides with the opposition, does not listen to the two sides of the story. Myself as well as all of YouTube, which includes prominent lawyers, have watched Thomas's behavior in court. The judge is very biased and disrespectful with no credible evidence. He has stripped a respondent of his First Amendment, Second Amendment, and Fifth Amendment. Even after 5 hearings, the respondent's lawyer hasn't even been heard. He says the 15 minutes thing. Co-counsel Mark Feather. That's hilarious. We see everything. Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. That is so funny. Oh, this one person, civil litigation, private. Honorable to Thomas's is being crucified now by all of a certain YouTuber's followers. I sincerely believe that all these septic reviews, septic. That's funny. That is funny. I think they've been watching the videos too. Will be shown to be words being echoed by this YouTuber. The judge has explained his proceedings throughout the hearing. Really? But I guess this is not the way the tuber expected it to go. He has reached out to his followers to report. It's obvious it's not going well and turning out how he thought. He is now attacking the judge on his channel as suffering black robe syndrome. If the shoe fits. The Thomas has handled my cousin's case about a year ago. I only recently heard of this site in relation to his current reprehensible actions and attitudes coming out pertaining to a certain case. None of this is new, however. This is how his courtroom works. I'm happy that he has finally found an audience to witness the behavior and hopefully handle it appropriately. I began watching the Preston v. Hales case in November. I have knowledge of information from both sides. I don't know. This one's too long. That's too many words for me. Could be a really good point or points, but too much. I can't do it. Oh, look at this one. Judge DeThomas's is fair and impartial, explains courtroom proceedings not just to the lawyers representing their clients, but to the clients also, as they may be uninformed as to why he is ruling the way he is. Judge is one of the shining beacons of light we have here in the 8th Circuit of Florida. It is always a pleasure to have my cases heard in his courtroom. So apparently that person is representing themselves to be a judge. I wonder how much they got. I mean, not a judge, an attorney. I wonder what they got in exchange for that review. Oh, man. First, I want to say that I have not chosen a side to be on due to the fact that I haven't seen and heard all the evidence. I do not believe that Judge Craig C. DeThomas's can honestly say the same thing. Is this that same one again? Because that's too many words. Once again, I can't. Ooh, look, here's another good one. Honorable Craig C. DeThomas's is the best judge that Levy County and the 8th District Court of Florida has ever seen. Y'all, that is enthusiastic. Don't back down, Judge C. Isn't it Judge D, though? Not Judge C? Don't recuse yourself, and I beg your honor to not allow a YouTube bully and his henchmen women try and back you into a corner where you feel you must remove yourself from this case. You are doing an awesome job thus far, and I commend you and your staff for having to put up with the harassment and hate from this insufferable excuse of a human being. God bless you, Your Honor. You rock. Yeah. Okay. You'll be getting a lot of complaints based on one court case, that of Jeremy Hales stalking Michelle Preston from Otter Creek. The majority of the people registering a complaint are basing their opinion on Mr. Hales' very biased and one-sided YouTube videos in which he attacks Miss Preston almost daily. Oh, you know how you could change that though? Stop being biased. I beg your honor. It's like when my daughter says to me, when she's being a princess, she'll say to me, "Here you go, my majesty." It's funny. I've seen this judge in action through a YouTube channel. I want to see some more. I want to see some more good ones, you know? Those good ones are funny. I'm here for the good comments. Oh, Judge DeThomas has followed the law in his current case before him. Ooh, is he judging his own case, you guys? Because now that might be unethical. He should not be condemned for bias, injustice, or failure to uphold the law until a case is heard in its totality before judgment can be made on this man. Both sides need to be heard. I would agree, but this judge prevented both sides from being heard. Due to numerous continuances by the defendant, not true. We have only heard from the plaintiff. He should be given the benefit of the doubt. Allow this to be heard in its entirety before forming an opinion. YouTube journalists are currently trying this case. Let the judge do his job. You know what? The judge had plenty of time to do his job and he didn't do it. So, no thank you. If this judge had a fan club, I'd join it. Well, you can start one. He is actually seeing past the misinformation that a respondent is feeding to the public. Even amongst a smear campaign, he is upholding the law. I would give him more stars if possible. You can send him some, I'm sure. Amazon sells pretty much anything. Reported and removed from the bench. Yep. He was the judge I begged to grant me a restraining order when I feared my partner was going to unalive me. I was in a physically and mentally, relationship and found the courage to finally get away. The judge believed everything a master manipulator said and blamed the victim. The judge ignored previous charges of stalking. This judge let a criminal reoffend until finally incarcerated for a more violent crime. This judge had an opportunity to make the world safer. This judge is exactly what is wrong with the criminal justice system. This judge used his own biases to dictate the lives of civilians. This judge should not be allowed to practice. This judge should be sent to the bar and evaluated. There has been plenty of complaints against him. This judge has a reputation in the local area, but no one seems to do anything about it. That's because he's on the bench. They can't do anything, really, Why you gotta vote. You gotta vote. Vote this one out. You know what I mean? I've definitely seen judges act in a way that I was not comfortable with, that I was not fond of, and it's why I ran for judge against the judge I was not in agreement with, let us say. Yeah, I would say so. What should be? Should be putting their legal fees toward helping people and not. What should be? I missed something here, you guys. What did I miss? What did I miss? Oh, well. I miss a lot of things, so it's okay. Check the court case. Megan Fox and Tug review from Judge Grudge. Oh, wait. Oh, man, that sucks. Yeah, he's funny. This lawyer, he's a funny guy. WTH, not TH. Anyway, I don't see them stepping up, helping with legal representation or money for them to hire a lawyer. I'm all for having an opinion, but considering JH's history, he's very generous. Yes. Oh, are people saying that Jeremy should pay for her to have a lawyer? Oh, okay, that would be insanity. Come on. That would be crazy. Yeah, I honestly don't know how this case, I mean, I don't see it ending in a nice place, huh? I just don't. I don't know. Larry had some good advice for them the other day, though. Yes, she is so much better. I'm about to go see her. It's like really yucky here today. It's gloomy and like not sunshiny and stuff. Oh yeah, I know. Jeremy came in, or Jeremy or George one or somebody on their account came in and said that the other day. I kind of felt like it was Jeremy, but I could be wrong. And then I saw somebody else. Yeah, it would be a conflict of interest. Like, if you're going to pay for the attorney, then does that mean you get to hire the attorney too? We all know that would be like a no-no, a big no-no. This site, oh, they posted more. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if we want to talk about a bunch of people who harass other people, look no further, my friends. Look no further. Remember that conversation at the beginning of this stream? But yeah, you know, you don't have to go around the internet and like if you don't like somebody, how about just like don't like them? And also if you're just going to keep saying, I have receipts and bring your receipts and then shut up. Okay? Because all I did wrong was actually, I really don't think that I did anything wrong. I just thought that I just did not agree with allowing the person on panel to be doxxed and to be attacked. And I thought that was like a universal rule, you know, but apparently not. And I'm such a bitch for even thinking so, right? But yeah, you don't have to just then like follow me around every single place I go, making up new screen names and like trolling me and talking shit about me as a single mom. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to be mean girls, you know? Just go back onto your little club and shut up. Anyway, now that my blood pressure's super high, I'm gonna go play with my child so I can lower it. Yeah, there's Gail, there's also the link. Yeah, but you don't follow. Yeah, but you follow me being nice. You follow me being nice. Yeah, spread love, not hate. For what family? For the Hales? Wait, for which family, Gail? I missed it. I missed it. Oh, it's been happening since the Lego stream, you know. You're allowed to make fun of me, John. I mean, it really is full of so many crazy people, and they're like all on YouTube. Oh, okay. I get what y'all are saying. Okay, I get it. I get it. Hey, Full Storm, thank you. That's so nice. I appreciate that. You need help trying to join my channel, do you? Hold on. Maybe I can find that for you. Let me see. I might be able to, but I'm not sure. You know me. I don't really know my way around here. Basic info, maybe. Nope, that's not it. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know where it is. Y'all, I don't know, but I think if you I don't know, like when you first go into the channel, I think where it says like sub, it might say join there, maybe. I don't know. One day I'm gonna have this figured out and I'll just be like, oh, you need a link to join? Let me give you the link. But oh, I know where there is one. Actually, hold on a second, I think. No, I don't. I don't know anything. I lied. Because you know me, I'm a liar. Okay. Well, thank you, Nurse TT. That's very nice. I will see you all very soon. Yes, the join button is right next to the subscribe on a computer. Okay, sorry, Debbie. Maybe next time I'll have that figured out. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.